Hey everyone, welcome back to the OJC's Jazz Tourist. Today we're going to be going to Rotterdam in the Netherlands. Everyone wants to go to Amsterdam, but I'm going to take you to Rotterdam, a great place to check out jazz records, jazz record friendly stores. So before we get into it, make sure to hit like if you're enjoying these jazz record walks, and also make sure to subscribe. Okay, let's jump right into it. There we go. Back to the trusty Google Maps. Let me just move things around a little bit. All right. Okay, those of you who know my shtick here know that I like my Google Maps. I like my Google Maps. I also love the Netherlands. The Netherlands is such a friendly place. It's a great place to take your family. I've been there with my family before. It's really easy to get around. It can be expensive. It can be hard to find somewhere to stay. That's increasingly become a problem with kind of mass tourism and cheaper flights. There's also a direct train now that takes you from London all the way to, without having to change, all the way to Amsterdam. You can also get off in Rotterdam. You can also get off in Lille. But anyway, so there's a whole bunch of reasons why the Netherlands has become a very popular location, tourist location. So kind of 10, 20, 30 years ago, it was for other reasons, including pot smoking. But of course, pot smoking is really marijuana. It's been liberalized around the world, particularly here in Canada, parts of the United States. So that part of kind of tourism has started to kind of die down, I think, a little bit at least. Anyway, so today we're going to be talking about, of course, jazz record stores, but I wanted to start here, kind of showing you this large map of the Netherlands here. If you can see, there we go. Yeah, my cursor is kind of circling Amsterdam. You can see all the places that I've tagged, which has a whole bunch of good record stores. But I'm gonna say that in fact, the Rotterdam, a city that a lot of people don't think about as a tourist destination, a fun place to check out. It's a fabulous place for record stores, and it's particularly a fabulous place for jazz record stores. I would say, am I going to say on par with Amsterdam? Don't miss it. And the reason why you shouldn't miss that, let's say if you're in Amsterdam for a week, you can get to Rotterdam here from Amsterdam down to Rotterdam, which is where all my other tags are, in as quick as about 50, 55 minutes. So make sure to take the express train from the central station in Amsterdam. Make sure to tap to pay the extra little bit for the express train, and it'll take you directly into the center of the city. So I kind of have, I've kind of got two areas of the city that I want to talk about where there are a cluster of record stores. There's one or two off the beaten track outside these two areas that I probably would recommend, and I'll talk about them quickly. But because I like to talk about, kind of walkable jazz record store walks, or places where you can, kind of neighborhoods where you can spend an afternoon. You can sit down, have a great lunch, find some good beer. I'm going to largely stick to these two areas. Okay, so let's zoom in here. Let me move this over so it's a little bit more central. There we go. So here's Rotterdam Central Station. Okay, again, incredibly helpful. Right, almost right in the middle of the city. I would say the middle of the city is just south, and you can walk there. From Central Station down to the south, which is always typically kind of a little bit of a yellow shading in the background here on Google Maps. It's really only about, I'm going to say, about 8 blocks. So it's a nice walk into, the center of the city, into the downtown. I guess Europeans don't really call it downtown. Anyway, or you can take a tram, which will take you into both areas that I'm going to talk about today, or you can take a subway over to the first area that I'm going to talk about. So what I would actually recommend is if you just have, let's say, the afternoon, or if you arrive at noon and you got to get back to Amsterdam, let's say by 5 o'clock, I would go from the station, Rotterdam station, okay, over here to Eintrachtsplan. Sorry. Um, Switch and then take the subway all the way over here to Delfshaven. Okay, lines A, B, or C. All right. This is the part of the city that was spared the absolute carpet bombing by the Germans in the Second World War. So it's a really pretty part of town. Of course, it's of course very similar to Amsterdam, but there's a great pub down here where I think what's the it's called the Pelgrim pub, which has historical significance again for the United States, of course. And there's some really wonderful places. The old Sluis is also a wonderful place to sit down, have a drink, kind of get settled. There's a wonderful set of restaurants here. So if you're looking for somewhere to have a drink at one of the kind of Dutch style cafes, or there's a really wonderful Surinamese, oh my lord, Surinamese restaurant. It's a takeout restaurant there. Grab some food, go sit by the canal. So this is a really great place to start. Okay. Um, and then you would jump on one of the streetcars, which again, right here in Delfshaven, or you can walk across, check out the canals. But where I'm going to take you is actually back a little bit back towards the central station, this area right here, which is I think I would say this is one of the two main kind of cultural areas of Rotterdam. And it's the one that I would say has the best cluster, well, it definitely has the best cluster of record stores. So the three ones I want to talk about are the oh man, I can't believe I'm even trying to pronounce this record store, the Plaatboef, Demon Fuzz, and then the third one, which is probably one of the best stocked jazz used kind of classic um, jazz record stores that I think I've ever been to, particularly outside of Japan. I think it's really in the kind of the top five, I would say, not to be missed. Okay, so let's start with the Plaatboef. Terrible pronunciation. Let's see if we can get some pictures here. There you can kind of see from the outside. This street is also great for if you want to just stop down here and kind of, if you don't have enough time to go down to Delfshaven, because again, it is a little bit like Amsterdam. That's usually where I stay when I go to Rotterdam, so I like it down there. Anyway, you can just stop in this area because there are some really nice cafes and pubs, Dutch pubs as well down here. You can kind of see them on either side of this record store. It's what am I going to say? I'm going to say the prices are pretty good here. I thought they're pretty decent, and it's a very large record store. So a lot of the newer stuff is downstairs. Let me see if I can find a. Wow, these are messy pictures. I don't remember it being that messy. There it is. There's a nice picture of downstairs. You come in back here at the back and come up, and there's a lot of new stuff by the window. This fella here, this Dutch fella, Rotterdamian. Rotterdam. He's checking out the new stuff here. A lot of new stuff here in the middle. There's some collectibles I'll use my cursor instead of my hand. Just to the right here, worth checking out. And then these punters coming down the steps here. Most of the jazz, the regular jazz bins collections are upstairs, and I'm going to say there's probably a good, at least 12 bins upstairs. You're going to find a lot of Dutch imprints, so reissues that I found to be very good. A lot of the kind of the major artists. So if you're trying to fill in some, let's say Miles Davis, more Miles than Coltrane actually. Not sure why. Um, so a lot of jazz was reissued by German companies. And I'm going to say maybe a quarter of those kind of reissues from Blue Note and Atlantic and Impulse were also reissued by the Netherlands. So again, the quality is very good. I wouldn't hesitate, and I would really highly recommend the Dutch LPs that you find. Okay, so this is where if you were to go through my collection, I would pull out some my Miles Davis. I'm going to say I have two or three that I found from this store, Dutch presses that are reissues that are again really wonderful. So very good prices and a good selection. So a good place to start. Okay. So that is the Plaatboef. Oh man, terrible pronunciation. Just across the street, a few doors down. Again, there's some nice used vintage clothing stores on this side of the street, on either side of Demon Fuzz, I remember. Really kind of groovy neighborhood. Um, and let's go inside. There we go. That's better. Front door coming in. And what can I say about this? Again, there's all the kind of the collectible jazz is up here by the staff person where I'm swirling around. And I'm going to say they usually have a good one or two bins up there with some really interesting stuff. Well worth checking out. They've got some new releases, some things that you wouldn't necessarily find in North America. Let's see if I can here. Let's switch around. Here's a good picture, kind of the opposite. This is a view that you get when you're walking in to the store. And on the back here by the window, there's a really great selection of jazz, soul, funk, blues, disco, what have you, world music, African music. And it's a good, it's a great place to dig. It's there's good stuff there. There's it's not a junkie store. I'm gonna say there's a pretty decent selection of LPs there. Are they gonna be OGs and first presses and first reissues? Probably not. But you are gonna find a good selection of European LPs. Oh wow! And from time and again, you will find some good originals in there as well. So every time I go there, I probably pick up maybe one or two LPs. So that's Demon Fuzz, a little bit better for kind of funk and jazz, definitely rock and alternative rock, indie. That's kind of their thing there in Demon Fuzz. All right, well worth checking out. All right, Demon Fuzz. Okay, now let's get to the serious place, the Vinyl Spot. Holy smokes. What to say about Vinyl Spot? I'm a little torn because, you need to, it's one of those jazz stores. There's one in every second city around the world that has just an amazing collection, but you're gonna pay. You're gonna pay slightly above probably Discogs max listed prices. Having said that, the quality of the LPs here, I'm going to say, are always really excellent, including the covers. So let's go in because, yeah, I find this place a bit overwhelming. But when I go to Vinyl Spot, I know I'm going to drop. I just plan to spend. I set myself a limit, a budget. A couple €100. Um, I think I'm going to say here it might be cash only. We may want to check that out. And I would recommend bringing cash to a lot of these places because I think they're a little friendlier cash wise. And then also I've had some success in kind of negotiating a little bit at Vinyl Spot. And then I think for the really rich stuff, it's like, no, no, I'm not going to take that offer. Let's have a look here. Let's do a wide shot. They have these, I don't know that many stores. Do you guys know that many stores that have these kind of plastic bins? Actually, I don't mind them because for whatever reason, they don't jam them full, the wooden permanent ones. And I think that this store does a lot of record fairs. So I think it's just easy. I'm just speculating, but I think that's how they kind of pack stuff up and kind of cart it away. Anyway, you can kind of see there's some fabulous stuff on the wall, a lot of OG stuff on the wall behind the desk. Of course, there's always the best stuff. But here on the facing the staff as well, it's all originals here, from all the major labels, all the major jazz labels. I'm going to say that here behind this fellow here is Japanese. Is some really great Japanese, with almost always with obies in them, and then the wall that this fellow's looking at is kind of a little bit more affordable jazz. But you can also you can see, there's some Coltrane in there. Um, but whoa, that's pretty funky. Oh, you can kind of move around. Oh, there he is, the fella. Anyway, look at the wall. What do they got there? They got an Andrew Hill. Anyway, um, I think it's like 80% jazz. There's another room kind of behind, like 180 degrees behind. Let's go around. What do we got here? Here's the kind of the fusion jazz stuff here. All the really serious stuff is kind of over here though, and the Japanese. They got a couple Japanese bins over here. So this place is a gold mine. And then I think there's some African stuff. This is great. Whoa. I hope I'm not making you seasick. This is the African music here, and I picked up some great stuff. And I think I'm going to say there's kind of rock and maybe some equipment in this room over here. I've only been in there once or twice. Anyway, so let's head back here. What can I say? If you go to Rotterdam and you're a jazz collector, you have to go to Vinyl Spot, right? You need to take your list with your serious want list, your serious wish list. It's serious. I think I said that already. Okay, that's enough blah blah blahing about Vinyl Spot. Okay, so hey, look, there's Joey Ramone. Um, so wonderful neighborhood. Two really decent stores and one just mind blowing, credit card blowing store. Let's zoom out. So that's what I would call kind of the south of a Central Station neighborhood. It might even be called Eindrijksplan. I'm not entirely sure, but this is a great street to go down if you want to have a beer and check out, as I said before, the vintage clothes and those three record stores. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit more. Again, we're just south of the Rotterdam station again. This is more of the typical kind of shopping streets, shopping malls, what have you. What we would call in the States and Canada the big box stores, although they're not as big. The media market here, all that kind of stuff. But if you want to check out more of the alternative art scene, again, it's not that far of a walk here from Demon Fuzz, what have you, over to Eindrijksplan, down one large block, and over to this street here that Witte de Witstraat, which, as you can see here, is a hip street with cafes, bars, and galleries. I don't think there's any record stores down here, but if you're interested in kind of DJ culture, alternative arts, this is a fantastic arts center. There's a kind of a community arts center here just around the corner. Really great. There's if you want to run over to Home Base Records, I didn't have that one on my list, but anyway, so if you're just sticking to downtown, meaning just south of the Central Station, this is a great place to go, and then you can either walk up or just quickly jump back on the subway and head back. Okay, so that's the one area. If you've got a full day, you could still do Rotterdam in a full day. I would recommend, if you have more time, doing 2 full days in Rotterdam. There's absolutely enough to see for 2. I would even say maybe in 3 days. But okay, let's zoom out a little bit, folks, and let's head to this area up here. So here's again Central Station. All right, we went down to Delshaven, down here, and then over by Demon Fuzz and Vinyl Spot. Okay, so it's clear on the other side of town, so you can kind of see why it's like you may want to pick one or the other. And I would recommend this area first because it's closer to kind of downtown and the funky street. Excuse me. All right, but one I think if you have a look at my videos, one of my top 5 record stores wasn't Vinyl Spot, actually, I thought about it, but it's just a bit too heavy on the credit card. But there is a great record store up here called Jens Do Records. It's one of my absolute favorite record stores, wonderful owner, and a really great collection. But before I jump into that, I'm already getting too excited. The best way of getting here is streetcar. There's no subway that takes you up here, so you can get a streetcar from the station here. Let's see which one it is. Sometimes they list. Well, it'll be this one. Here we go. Sorry, everyone. Sometimes when you hover above, it gives you the number of the streetcar. Anyway, you might have to find that yourself. 38, is that it? That's probably it. It's 38 from Central Station. I hope that's it. Double check anyway, folks. And it's just on the other side of the Rotte here, the canal. And a couple things to do over here. This is a more multicultural area of town. There's another really great Surinamese restaurant here, very inexpensive. This one I find that I didn't think they didn't speak any English here, so that was a little harder to communicate. But anyway, look at the take your translator from your phone. Go have lunch there. Another great place to go is the Brewery North. Right here, their times are a little funky though. They always seem to be open only in the afternoons, but they have wonderful, fabulous beer here. Sorry, got to take some. We got to look at the pictures. I know I'm talking about record stores here, but yeah. Sorry. Yeah, they just have all these picnic tables set up out front. Just a wonderful spot. There's some really great breweries in Rotterdam. But this one's right around the corner from Jens Do Records. Jens Do, I think they have, let's see if we can find a good shot inside that one. Well, let's show that one first. There's the front door. I really like the store because anyway, the owner was super nice and we had some really great chats. And there's also a place to play records here, which I really appreciated. Really felt welcome. Some places to sit down. I don't know, when you're walking around a city like Rotterdam, there's a lot of walking, right? When you're on holiday or you're visiting, you're working and you're taking a few hours off. It's I find it's really great just to go around and find the records and then find somewhere to sit, pull out my phone, again, double check things, look at the condition of the albums, maybe talk a little bit to the owner, double check, make sure that this is what I want, So I really appreciate like a chair. Is that a weird thing to say? The jazz tourist. Thumbs up for a chair. No, it makes a difference. Anyway, there's probably about I don't know how many bins of jazz, kind of 180 degrees behind us here in this picture. Let's see if we can find a better picture. We might not be able to, unfortunately. Next time I go, I'll definitely see if the owner's okay with me taking some pictures. But yeah, it doesn't seem to be a better picture, unfortunately. But I'm going to estimate that there's a good 8 or 10 jazz bins, and the prices here are really fair. We're really, I thought were very, very fair, much better than you're going to get in Amsterdam or Vinyl Spot. The collection too was fabulous. There were 2 or 3 LPs that I've been looking for years that I found here at Jens Do Records. So it is worth, if you have the time. It's a little bit more off the beaten path if you're just if you only have a few hours. Last time I was in town, it was absolutely pouring down with rain. So I went to go to the kind of south of the station area. I hit a couple record stores, and then it was too soggy, so I didn't make it up here, which I'm like, my favorite record store. Anyway, highly recommend it. Again, great pub around the corner. Okay, what else is going on down here? There used to be a record store that's called That's Record Store. It's closed, but there's another one here that I noticed when I was just prepping for the show here, for the stream, called Offbeat Records. And to be totally honest, I don't think I've been in there. It looks like maybe it might be in a store with, maybe they share a store with something else. Anyway, let's have a quick look, folks. Hey, if you're in this neighborhood, go check it out. That's all I can say. It looks like it's a little bit more of a kind of a DJ friendly themed store. Let's see what's on their wall. Yeah, it looks like they might have some kind of funk and some other things, some soul and funk. Yeah, definitely. Here we go. Yeah, so well worth checking out. So that's called Offbeat Records. I'm sorry I don't know it. I just thought that I would mention it because it's right next to Yanzu Records. So check it out and drop me a note in the comments and tell me again if you're from the Netherlands, know more about it than I do, or if you've dropped by, if you visited. So yeah, so there we go. There's my tour of Rotterdam. Wonderful, wonderful place to visit. Completely unlike Amsterdam. I find it because it's not inundated with tourists like Amsterdam is. I find that folks there are more laid back and totally understandable. That's not a slam on Amsterdam. If my hometown was slammed with tourists, I wouldn't be super happy about it either. um, but Rotterdam just has a totally different vibe. Has skyscrapers there, some great canals, some great jazz bars, and of course Amsterdam attracts most of the major touring acts. But I'm going to say, because I lived in Rotterdam for 4 months a few years back, that maybe a quarter of the acts that make their way to Amsterdam also stop in Rotterdam, just because they have an extra night. They can get 50, 100 people to a show in Rotterdam as well. So I saw a lot of great shows. Fabulous place. Don't bypass it. If you have the time, take that train down from Amsterdam, or get off the train if you're coming from Paris or Lille or London. Check out those record stores. Tell me what you think. Give the channel a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe, and we will see you again soon. Take care, everyone.